right, I have returned. And what were we doing? Talking about defining kind of what the data is that we're dealing with here for our stream plans. For lack of a better name. And I was debating what is going to be better for me for like how this UI is going to operate. And it's interesting because I think that from my perspective, that end date makes more sense because it's likely that these are things I'm just thinking back to like the last year and a half of me streaming, that thinking about like trying out a new game, and that is potentially like I think a stream or a couple streams I did some RimWorlds on Wednesday, and that was a stream plan, right? That was a stream plan, and it just lost interest in doing that. But that's the thing where I wouldn't know that in advance, right? We're gonna try that out. Part of how this is going to, like, I'm imagining this to work, right, is that broadly speaking, I have streams on Sunday and Monday and Friday, right? And so, but that's not what I want to represent here. I don't want to have like 3 records. Anyway. I don't want to have 3 things in this. What I want to do is I want to have something a little bit more granular. Where I don't know. This does all tie into some other stuff I want to do. Like this on its own, it's like the immediate, like how this ties into what I want to do next with this information is like, okay, I can click a button. I can see, or rather, I can see, okay, this is the stream I normally do. Click button and it applies to tags. It sets the category of the stream, that sort of thing. But this is more broadly about the idea of building my own UI to replace the stream manager that Twitch provides, right? So that's this thing. Whee! There we go. So that, we can, have that integration like that. And that's going to then tie into some of the other things that I have been working on with Blowing Telegram, of being able to sync the stream data with the recording, with our AI transcription and summarization, with episode creation. I have another Vite app that I use like for managing countdowns and other like stream widgets that are integrated into OBS. Being able to do like integrations into Discord, all of that stuff, right? So the aim here really broadly is to have this front-end UI that is able to allow me to see the data, manipulate the data, but then also have to have custom views to embed in OBS, to do various things with, right? So that's where this is going. And to get there, we gotta, start fleshing things out. And I thought this calendar scheduled stream series thing could be a good place to start. Okay. So that explanation is partially for the benefit of you all, but also for me, just kind of making sure that I understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I think effective date will be good because, like, if we're thinking about, I have a thing where I do like a few streams on Wednesdays or Fridays of a game, that would be one of these stream plans. And then I like lose interest in the game or we do something else, then I can just put an end date on that. And that makes sense. I think that will be better than, more useful than having like a count of occurrences. So then if there isn't an end date, that takes care of one of the objectives here of having infinite occurrences. There's no planned end date, right? Now, other things I wanted to do, I wanted to have exceptions or skips. So I want to have like skip or skips, and that would be an array. And these would be days that the stream would be skipped. So let's say 2024, 11, 24. Let's see. I should make sure this is actually like a Sunday. I'm not actually planning on skipping next Sunday, but I'll put that there as just for an example, right? And then we want to have recurrence. So sure, I could say something like, oh, weekly. But I probably want to have something that is a little bit more complicated than that. Where I have, type weekly interval 1. Is that sufficient? No. Days? What is a good way of representing the kind of recurrence that I want, right? So typically, everything is weekly on certain days. And interval, like, I think every stream that I do is effectively going to have this recurrence, just with a different day, right? So I guess that's sufficient for my use case, which means I could probably make this simpler, where I could just have this be recurring days, and it would always be weekly and whatnot. I think I will keep this structure though. I will probably, when I start implementing code, I will have a check for type, and I will throw like some kind of not implemented error for other things for now. And then I can come back to that should I want to. So start in, infinite, finite. I mean, yeah, these kind of overlap. Exceptions or skips. And then we need some other information in here. Time is good. Yeah, a start time would make sense. How should it be represented though, right? So this would be something like 0830, maybe. As opposed to, so this would be like 24-hour clock time representation, and explicitly not something that's like a time zone based representation, because the idea would be daylight savings time or not, it would still be 8:30 in whatever time zone. Or would it? I mean, it would be 8:30 in my time zone, right? But it would be 8:30 in my time zone regardless of daylight savings time. which actually I think saying that way is the opposite of what I mean. So it should be 8:30 either in daylight savings time or not. How do you represent that? Hmm. Hmm. That's a question. See, because yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you represent that. Like I could say 8:30, and then I could have a time zone. So it would be something like that. What is that actually? Yeah, sure, that's Pacific Standard Time now. Okay. Isn't there another way of representing that? It's like US Pacific. No, that doesn't exist. Okay, well anyway. So I think this works though. Because this will be neutral to daylight saving time or not. To actually know what time this is, you need to know what day. That's always the case, is that times are really ambiguous if you don't know the location and the date. And I think I want that I want that relativeness here. Okay, so we're gonna do that. For in time, I mean I can just do the same thing, right? So it's usually 3 hours. This is very meta. I'm describing the stream that is currently happening. Anyway, so let's see, tags. Yeah, I don't need to say duration if I have start time and end time. So typical tags are the tags that are currently on the stream. There's no way to copy and that's annoying. Okay, I'll just type them. So do I want? I think, let me go back to my my workflow here. Standard tags for all streams. Yes. So I want to do that so that the only tags I put into the individual records are the ones specific to that kind of stream, right? So this would be, let me go back to the edit view here so I can see all the tags. This would be TypeScript, React, correct? VS Code. Let's see, GitHub Copilot, yep. Vite. Not this time. Web development. Yep. And keyboard cam. Keyboard maestro. If only. Right? So something like that. Okay. And then category. category is, I'll probably just use the text version of that. So the name of the category here is software and game development. Oops. There you go. Okay. So, is there anything else? Recurrence patterns are just kind of like skimmed over. It's doing something simple-ish that will not fully implement. And then I have something about prep notes. I guess I can do that. Prep notes. Things to think about before I go live. Okay. I'm just gonna get rid of that second record. And so this is kind of the model of the data for this. And then if I reload this page, this list view is going to be kind of crowded. It's just going to show everything by default. That's fine because we're going to make a custom one. That's kind of the next thing. Okay, so we have all of the let's model recs. Let's kind of pull all of those things in here. Okay. So, what do I want to do first? I could make a create view. How do I want to structure the project? So typically for React admin projects, what I'll do is I'll just create like a resources folder, and I'll create a folder for each kind of resource. And I think that's fine for now. What do I think about that? Yeah, I think I'll do that. So we'll create a folder called resources. Capitalize folder names or no? Typically I do that when the folder represents a component itself, and that has like an index.tsx or something. In this case, I won't. And then we're going to create a folder inside of here called stream plans. And then we're going to create a file called create. I could call this something like stream plans create. Make it a little easier to know what's going on from just looking at the tab. Okay, so how do we create a create view? How indeed. Let's go to the docs. So I do this the proper way. Okay, using the create component. So the create component is the main component for creation pages. It prepares a form submit handler and renders the page style and actions. It's not responsible for rendering the actual form. That's the job of its child component, usually a form component like simple form. And then the form has children, input components to render each form input. So we can really customize and put together exactly what we want from this structure. So here we go. We're gonna take all of this, probably to here. And there, and we're gonna rename this. I'm not gonna export this, and in fact, I like just doing a function. It's gonna be stream plans create, and we don't need any props. So we'll do that. Don't need that rich text input either. And yep. So we're gonna do text input. Let's do this. So let's put this side by side, because basically what I want to do is I want to create an input for each data element in our stream plans. So we have one for name that is required. We have a text input description, which I will say is not required. We have another text input. Actually, what was that? RA input rich text is really interesting. Is that listed in inputs? Is that a premium component? There's a smart rich text input. There's a normal rich text input as well. Ooh, do I want to do this? Do I care to do this? It'll look cool. Why not? Save dev. Cool. Let's get back to the example. Not long description. This would be prep notes. Okay. What's with the error? Let's save this, close this, and reopen it. Is this a... Okay. Oh, well, it helps that... Okay, there we go. Let's fix that syntax error. Okay, prep notes. Effective date is going to be a date field, a date input rather. I mean, I guess if I'm using the word effective, I could use the word expiration. Do I want to just say start date instead? Is that more or less clear what the intent is? Okay, let's look at the docs for date input. I'll make sure I'm using this correctly. Date input. There's a date range input as well. I should look at that. Okay, so this uses the date input. Yeah. It will automatically convert the value to our favorite ISO 8601 date format. This conversion may change the date because of time zones. Right, if you have something that has a time in it as well, presumably. Oh, and the Enterprise Edition has an alternative. Okay, cool. All right, so, oh, and date range is also a premium. Date time input, what about time input? How does it, what does it format the value to? Uh-huh. Okay. Probably have to do some stuff there. So let's go back to the code. So we have some kind of initial start end. So skips will be interesting. We'll do an array input. This will be skips. How does that work again? So let's take a look. Array input. Edit arrays of data embedded inside a record. Array input creates a list of subforms. So I have a list here that just has single string values and not objects. Is there a way to handle that? Reference, search, select array input, text input, time input, tree input. Okay, so props reference. Simple form iterator is this. Sub records. So the question is now, if there's not an easy way to deal with this, do I want to change the structure of the data, right, to make it easier? Something to keep in mind here, of course, is this is how I'm structuring the data that's going to be given to the front end. But what's actually ends up in the back end that we will have to design and build at some point could be different. There might be some value in having this as an object, because then I could do things like reasons, which Copilot has. It's ahead of me. Like, I was literally thinking it, and it just auto-completed such a thing. Okay, I don't know what. Let's put that in the future. Let's put this also in the future. I think it'll be more interesting once we actually start seeing some UI for this. Okay, so right. Okay, and oh, I guess it had already done it over here. I wasn't even paying attention to what it generated for us, and so it just did the same thing over here. Okay, well, that makes sense. We can do inline. See what that looks like in a second. Wait, I'm missing something here. Form iterator. I think what Copilot generated was wrong. Yeah, it's putting simple form. That should be simple form iterator. There we go. Come on. Okay, cool. Actually need to import that. Should start date be required? I think start date should be required and should be in the future. Let's look at docs on validation. Is that inside of inputs? Maybe there's a link to it from here. Validate. So I can make a function. Okay, I can pass an array. There we go. That's what I'm after. So required and value, max value, number, email choices. Okay, let's make this a little bit nicer. So we're gonna do a const start date validation. Do we believe that what Copilot has written is correct, valid, true? What is value here? I guess we're gonna find out. So, okay, so far so good. Let's keep going. So that skips, and then we'll have something to do with recurrence. How am I going to do this? You can do something like select input source equals recurrence dot type. Choices are something like that. Recurrence interval. Is there like a number input? Sure. Oop. Yep. Let's call it days. And I want this to be, oh, this needs to be like an array select or something. I think there's a thing for this. I mean, there's definitely an array input, but that's not what I want. I want like a autocomplete array input. Yeah, something like this would be good. Or select array input. Yeah, select array input is good. Yeah, we will import and import. Okay. And then I suspect there is not a time zone input. Let's leave ourselves a comment wishing there was. Need a time zone picker. Interesting. I guess that's also fine. Here, let's use Los Angeles. I'm on the West Coast. I don't care about the other time zones for the moment. I'll say to do here, so that it'll, there we go, be highlighted. All right, and then we have time input. start time, time input, in time. Have a, I guess this is an example of something where I want, do I want autocomplete array input? I probably do. Since there's not like a tag input, that would be it. I would be surprised if such a thing existed. Let's use autocomplete array input for this. Source tags, choices. Let's just empty choices. I think we'll have to do some stuff around. Interesting. Let's get this imported. Yeah, we'll come back to that to actually make that work. And category. And this actually does need to be some kind of select input source category. Choices would be ID. Yeah, something like that. And I could add more, but I'm not going to right now. Okay, so that's we wrote a bunch of things. Also, we need to export this component. There you go. All right, now we should use it. So in apps.tsx, for our resource, we're going to hook up create equals. This is stream plans create. Oh, we did not get the auto import. Let's see. Here we go. I thought that would work. Yeah, create, edit, list icon. Okay. Oh, I see. You know what helps? Returning the component. It's like, why is that returning void? Well, because it's returning void. There we go. All right. All right, and that is not yelling at us anymore. So if we go to our front end, first of all, you can see some things here. We can also click the create button, and it's broken. Oh no, it loaded. All right, cool. And here is the form that we just made. So we can create a test. This is a test. We can have notes. Very cool. One, two, three. We can click start date. We have a little browser provided selector. We can say page for the upcoming week. Current site, weekly, current days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, current interval every week. Do we need a better selector for this? Maybe, especially if this was actually going to be like a product. Not to mention having time zones and things. Do we have? We don't have any kind of like selector or anything. Let's go. Can we do anything about the time input? Do we have any options? Oh, I see. So Enterprise Edition has a better time input. Great. super. Well, we can make something else. So let's say 10 a.m. in time 2:15 p.m. There you go. Tags. We can't add any. So that's a problem. We don't have the ability to add tags here, and that is something I definitely want to be able to do. And I suspect that the data internally is not going to be formatted the right way when we try to save this. So one thing I want to go back and do, I noticed in the docs for our data provider, there's an option called logging enabled. So I want to add that to our data provider setup. There we go. And then do that. And let's figure out how we can do stuff with tags. So with tags, there are many props. Let's take a look at the docs here for select array input. So for create, to allow users to add new options, pass a React element as the create prop. We'll then render a create option at the bottom of the choices list. When clicked, it will render the create element. And the create component used the use create suggestion context hook to add a new choice to the list of options. What does that look like? So here's their create role. If you just need to ask users for a single string to create the new option, you can use the onCreate prop instead. Okay. So we can do something like this, which will work because our tags option text. I'm just thinking about the fact that, of course, tags here is supposed to be a flat array of things. But choices must be an array of objects, one object for each possible choice. And each object ID is the value, name is the label. I mean, our tags are... I guess it doesn't matter because choices is empty for this create view. So we'll do... Also, I'm using autocomplete array input, so I should be looking in the docs for that. Might be slightly different. Does it also have an onCreate? It does. I really dislike the idea of using prompts. Okay, so we're going this route. Okay, so we'll do something like that instead. Where we are going to do create tag. Of course, that doesn't quite yet exist, but it will. Function create tag. There we go. And what does create tag look like? It needs to be a dialog. It needs to be this. We have much to import. Start with the stuff from Material UI. And then it doesn't seem to know that that exists in React Admin. That is from React Admin, yes? Okay, good. Import from React. Yeah. Let's see if Copilot can give us the right type for this. It thinks it's that, so let's see if that's true. Cannot find name choices. That's interesting. Is this a bug in the docs? Where is choices supposed to be coming from? In this separate file. What is what is this? This is not, it's not a thing. Okay. So does that work? Of course we lost all of the stuff we typed in. Test. So I mean, if we can do that and we have create test, why can't it just create it? Maybe that's what on create is supposed to do. I don't think that's correct. Yeah, let's see. So value. Okay, what is the what is the actual type for onCreate? onCreate handler. Filter string. So then, okay, great. So what does this do? Create new tag test. Okay. Let's go back to the docs and figure out how this is actually supposed to work. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so yeah, why can't we just do that? Even shorter. Let's see, there and that, and I don't know why we don't have. See, it says extension biome was configured as formatter, but it cannot format TypeScript JSX files. What does it mean? Control-Shift-F instead of P. Format document. Extension biome is configured as formatter, but it cannot format. Okay. That's odd. Biome. Restart LSP server. It's very odd. Can we what if I disable reload window? Then I'll re-enable it. I feel like maybe this is a situation where because I hadn't restarted this window, like I opened the window on this folder prior to Biome being installed inside of npm in this project, that it just didn't start in a good state and never fixed itself. I wonder if that's the case. It doesn't think it can do that. It's not available. Okay, but it is. Oh, unless... Oh, it's still the same. Okay, enable. Yeah. Cool. Yay, we have formatting. All right, great. That was really bugging me. Okay, so does this work? If I go here and I say test, so enter. Okay, if I click the button, nada. Blind. Nope, I've lost the ability to undo there. That's fine. Where does the time go? Console.log. Yeah, there. Return. Is this supposed to be an array? Or a single value? Oh, it is supposed to be... Oh, I see. Okay, so we're supposed to mutate. I see. Yeah, do that. Do that. And then I guess I need to have... It seems like a really odd thing to do, to directly mutate a list inside of a component. Okay, well, whatever. If it works. And this is unhappy because it doesn't know what the type of this thing is. And this should be an object array like that. And then I guess we're saying if not filter return. That should make the types happy. Now, can I please enter tags? Let me do a hard refresh. Oh, right. So the Vite server stopped when I reloaded things. So npm start. And I'm going to take a break here, and we're going to come back in about 3 minutes and continue working on all this stuff. BRB.